Behind the Shades.
She was into marketing. She worked at a radio station, and she was on the side a promoter. So she was very, very busy on the social front. And when this all hit, it turned her life upside down. And the reason why I like to use her as an example is because you have someone that is pretty much from one extreme, very out there, Monday night, Tuesday night, because she's part of these events as a marketing person as well as a promoter. When this hit now she's at the point this year she can't be around people. And at one point, she was working 3 jobs that heavily involved her to be around people. And to your point, she's experiencing social anxiety now. And she's at the point, I believe, that there isn't any turning back. And when I look at her, and this is someone that's been friends for years, I ask myself, and I'll ask you this too, Troy, and anyone listening, how does someone like me, who hasn't been impacted as heavily or significantly as her, how do I help her regain her former self?
There's a lot of talk about new normal and things are not ever going to be the way that they were. And when you look at brain chemistry and how the brain is affected by trauma, which this is basically one huge continuous trauma that the world is experiencing, there's truth in that. Once your brain has been changed by a traumatic experience, you're not going to regain that. That's not going to that you're not going to get that back. Damage is done. What has to happen is you have to learn new ways to do the things that you used to do. Find new, what they refer to as neural pathways of the brain, to learn how to engage and function the way that you used to. And the way that people like us can assist folks is the number one thing is understand, and that's what people have a difficult time doing. And this is the same with any other trauma. I've been through what you've been through, and it didn't affect me the way it affected you. So why are you so messed up? That's what people like to say. And that is damaging to people. It's damaging to folks because it makes them feel like they are an alien, or they're not normal, or they're broken in some kind of way. And similar to those individuals who live with addiction, the last thing that you want to do to a person like that is abandon them or treat them like they're an outcast or put them like they're on the outside. They need support, because the only thing that heals things like this is, many cases when it comes to anxiety, is exposure. But they're afraid, right? They don't want to go outside and hang out in a group of people. They don't want to engage like they used to, because they don't know how anymore. Their nervous system has been, when you talk about physical activity, right? You work out and you exercise for a long period of time, your endurance builds, your ability to engage in certain activities builds, and you're able to continue to do certain things physically for a long time because you're consistently doing it. It's the same thing with these types of activities, these types of behaviors. You learn throughout your life how to socialize, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away, and now you can't. You don't know how to do it anymore. It's like you can't go back in the gym and bench press what you bench pressed if you took a year off. You have to start back at baby steps. So giving people an opportunity to relearn what they used to know, experience concepts and ideas that they used to know and experience before. Those are the things that we have to give people the ability to do. And what that means is giving them space to do it. Be patient with them. Don't force them to engage if they don't want to or they don't feel comfortable doing it. You know, the hardest thing about this with people who have managed and coped with this a little better than others is that we are able to just go back out and do whatever we want, you know, and everything is fine. And then but the other ones can't, and they feel like they're left behind, and it causes more damage, right? It causes more difficulties for them. So we have to give them that support. You know, there's no concrete, you know, black and white, you know, cookie cutter way of handling that with each person. The best thing is that you can do is ask them, what can I do to help you? What can I do to assist you? Is there anything that I can do to help you manage what you're having a difficult time managing? Because we can't look at their recovery and look at their healing through our lens. We have to look at it through their lens. We have to try to understand and use that empathy and try to give that person an opportunity to get these things back and learn these things in their own time, in their own speed. And you know, we talked earlier about the social networking and social connection, and that's another piece of it. You know, some of the folks that have been through this pandemic, they've been able to get online or be on Zoom or some sort of connecting method, and they're doing support groups where they created them themselves or someone has done it for them and they're facilitating it, and that is the method of getting back into socializing, because it's not in person. Because you have to ask her, you know, you have to just somehow find out what the foundation of her anxiety is, the foundation of her fear is, right? Is it because she feels like she might get COVID? That's something that, you know, it's hard to get past, because that's something that you have no control over, right? You don't know. Well, you have to be honest. Well, maybe you could get COVID if you go back out. That is a possibility. Whether you're vaccinated or not, there's a possibility that you might get COVID, and you can't control that. But there are things that you can control, and that's how you communicate with a person. That's how you connect with a person. That's how you support a person. You know, we as a society should be supporting people in general anyway, before the pandemic, but that's not what was normal. That's not what was acceptable. And so we have to do everything that we can to be the humans that we can and the kind humans that we can be, and be as supportive as possible without trying to rush and force and provoke people into doing things that they don't want to do. And that's like I said, there's no cookie cutter answer to that. Support is important, and people will have different definitions of support. Support for some people is like, come on, you got to get out there. You know, when somebody has a divorce or a breakup, you got to get out there and meet somebody else. No, that's not how it works. You know, you have to give people time to heal. And she's grieving. Your friend is grieving. It's not that she's just that has a social anxiety, but I'm sure she loved her job. She loved what she did. Now she feels like she lost it. It's almost like losing somebody. People that have lost their careers or houses, their families, you know, over many different things, whether it's the pandemic or politics or whatever, they've lost people. They have to have an opportunity to grieve. And I'm sure that's exactly what's happening. So she's grieving the loss of her job. So that's an added layer that you have to try to overcome, trying to support someone like her.